Hey guys, what's up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Rides. I'm here in the land of paradise, and guess what? We have a very unique hybrid sedan. This is a 2021 Toyota Avalon. Our particular Avalon Hybrid is an XSE trim. So when you hear those three letters, what automatically comes to your mind is sporty style and design from Toyota. But before we dive into this full-size sedan, let's talk about what's going on here. So Toyota is sticking to that tried and true recipe for success. They have their SUVs, of course they have the Sienna minivan, their pickup trucks, but they're sticking with sedans, and they're really gonna be bringing a lot for many different lifestyles, many different personalities, and what everybody's looking for. What's great is with this Avalon, if you needed more room than a Camry, but you didn't want to go big SUV, you're gonna get that extra space, but with this Avalon being a hybrid, you're gonna get great fuel sipping savings as you're driving day in and day out. But one thing is for certain, with a Toyota Avalon, you definitely are gonna get some great reliability, and I'm really digging this XSE trim. So let's go ahead, let's find out, is this the ultimate when it comes to a luxury style hybrid full-size sedan? Let's go check it out. Right off the bat, like I was saying, the style, when you go XSE, you're gonna actually get a totally unique front fascia that separates it from the rest of the Avalons. And what I'm noticing is with the Toyota products, especially like this particular one, there's starting to be a blending, a gray area when it comes to styling. It almost looks like a Lexus. And wait until we get to the interior, there's some big things in store. So right up at the front of the business, you're gonna get full LED headlights, looking great. I love the size and the shape of that headlight housing design. You can see how you have your daytime running lamps illuminated and everything. What I do like is this really mimics a lot the style of the Avalon TRD. Now, some people feel it's a little too much grille, but if you notice and you look at a lot of the other brands, grills are what's really in right now, and that's what manufacturers are putting a lot of attention on. But before we get to the grille, what I do love is the way the bodywork extends out. You have this massive air duct on the side that's going to channel that air. That air curtain is going to smooth out. You can see the horizontal bars in there. It's going to clean up the turbulence, because when air hits the front of a car, it builds a lot of turbulence. That's going to smooth it out. And this being a hybrid, that's a key to help getting extra MPGs when you're driving this vehicle. Now, there is a large area of mostly fake vent. It's a little bit functional on the bottom. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a 3/4 of a zonk. It's not a full zonk because there is some functionality down there, and you do also have some functionality down on the lower part. Now, one of the other touches that I like, besides the little bit aggressive styling for a full-size sedan, is you can see on this lower front fascia how it extends out. That is actually all meant, like I said, for channeling air. Now, as we come across the grille area, you're gonna see that big, wide mouth. You're gonna have that gloss black all the way around. This is functional up top. You do get, of course, that blue, which represents that this is a Toyota hybrid product. But I'm telling you, I remember once upon a time when Avalons were kind of like, you want to go to bed after seeing one because it would put you to sleep. This thing, styling wise, and if you're wondering, well, Joe, is this black? No, if you look closely, and we'll see as we get up onto the hood, this is a color called Blueprint, and I have fallen in love with it, especially in the Florida sun. Now, when we get up onto that hood, you can see the sparkling of that color Blueprint. It looks like a bass fishing boat, like a bowling ball, but very clean design. You're just gonna have some slight rise that's actually gonna coast right towards the A-pillar. Other than that, super smooth. Even the way they kind of put a nice curve to the top of the grille area. Now, as we come around the bend, what are we working with on the XSE trim? You're actually gonna get a specific wheel and tire. And what's great about a lot of hybrids today, they don't look like science experiments anymore. You don't have to go with the Prius. The Prius is still around, and that is the granddaddy of all the hybrids. But if you notice, you get a very tasteful wheel. So you have this multi-spoke wheel, great design. I love the gunmetal gray. It really has a nice metallic finish to it. And overall, just a really clean design. And if you're wondering, well, Joe, what's the size of this? That 18-inch wheel, you're looking at 235 on that width, and really balances well with the overall style of this Avalon. Now, as we go down the side, of course, you're gonna get that obligatory hybrid badge, not only the blue on the front, but this is a hybrid. I don't mind the placement. I'm glad they didn't bring it any lower, and I'm glad they didn't bring it any higher. You're gonna have gloss black on the mirror caps, a little bit of chrome trim, and then the smallest of LED turn signals are gonna be nice and bright at night. Now, as we kind of coast down the side, you got a standard size sunroof. You do have some brushed aluminum trim, both top and bottom, around the window treatments, a little bit of gloss black, color matched on the door handles. And I'm really digging, if you notice down below, look at the body line. You have one that kind of curves down and goes towards the edge of the door, and then the other one kind of flows all the way back into the passenger door and then disappears. Tasteful on the side sill, and then you'll notice that the belt line actually curves down, and that gives you a nice overall flow to the side of the car, so it doesn't look like a flat slab. It doesn't look like a refrigerator driving down the road. Now, as we work our way towards the back, you get a nice large quarter window. A little bit of gloss black is matching well with what we saw up front. And as we work our way towards the rear, being an XSE trim, that being that sporty trim, you are gonna get a trunk-lid spoiler. I do like the way it's got a nice dip in the center. It's not just a straight piece of plastic. It's got a nice dip, rises on each side. And then one of my favorite parts is, just like up front, I love the angles of the rear. The way the rear bumper area comes out, you have your turn signals that kind of waterfall down into that rear fascia. XSE trim, like I said, is that sporty trim. You got your hybrid badge, and then the way that they take the Avalon badging and just nicely put it into that rear taillight area. Black badge being an XSE. And then on the bottom portion, you are gonna get this diffuser area. It is fake, this fake vent, which I am gonna zonk, but what I am happy to say is that there's no fake exhaust, and you really can't see anything, which makes sense because you wanna think about fuel savings, this is being a hybrid. But let's go ahead, let's pop the hood and see what's powering our Avalon XSE hybrid. All right, guys, we got the hood pop. Now on the Avalon, you do have hydraulic hood struts, which is a nice thing. And then underneath that hood is that hybrid combination. So what are we working with on this Avalon XSE? You're looking at a 2.5 liter naturally aspirated inline four, that paired with the electric motor and that eCVT transmission. You're looking at 215 horsepower, 163 pound-feet of torque. This vehicle does weigh around 3,671 pounds, but here's where you're really gonna come out on top. You have a full-size sedan. You're looking at 43 miles per gallon in the city, 43 miles per gallon on the highway. So it's an even split, both city and highway. And what's wonderful is that having that eCVT, I know a lot of people aren't big fans of CVT transmissions, but if we are looking at a fuel sipping strategy, that really is the best way to go. And another nice thing about that setup is you're not getting that on-off feeling when the internal combustion engine kicks in. But why don't we go ahead, let's get to that interior, because I'm telling you right now, Toyota has brought some of that premium Lexus feel to this Avalon. All right, guys, we're inside the 2021 Toyota Avalon XSE Hybrid. I know you're probably saying to yourself, well, Joe, I thought full-size sedans were a thing of the past. I was gonna look at a Camry, but they really have worked on the style of this Avalon over the past couple years. I'm digging the color. I can't wait to see the rest of the interior. How much is this one? The way that this one is optioned, you're looking at an MSRP right around $44,000. Let's see what you get for the money. To the door panels, love the touches. There's this beautiful dark gray finish at the top of the door panel. The door panel's all soft material, and I'm telling you, the more that I get behind the wheel of these two-tone interiors from Toyota, I love that caramel brown color. The stitching is just exquisite. The nice silver treatment has been added. It really feels like a Lexus product. Door pocket is a little small on the small side there. Maybe 2 drumsticks from KFC and a bottle of Coca-Cola to wash it down. You're not gonna be able to get a bucket of chicken in there. So the good news is there's other storage places in this Avalon. Now, as we go from the door panel to the dash, there's more of that nice dark gray material. Has a beautiful flow. If you notice, it's flared out and then it kind of tapers in very nicely. Soft touch, soft touch. Love the stitching. And then this is unique to the Avalon. It's actually not the same system that's in the Camry. So you're getting a 9-inch system. You can see that we have navigation, of course, Apple CarPlay. You have your other features, including, Bluetooth capability and everything. So that really is a nice setup. You could go into your menu, real easy to use, get into your climate control, which is great. If you don't want to use the buttons, you could use the screen, and it's real easy to navigate through. To go back to home, you're good. But I'm actually digging the overall style, the way it kind of flows seamless into the center console. You do, of course, have Sirius XM. I'm going to throw it into reverse. Backup camera, a little on the grainy side, but the good news is it does have trajectory, and it does take up that whole 9-inch area. We've been in cars here where the screen is 12 inches, but in reality, you're only getting about 6. So it's kind of like somebody's fibbing somewhere when it comes to their 12 inches. But the good news is that the way they integrate the AC vents is really just seamless. You have your blue power on button. That's what you find in a hybrid, which is a very nice touch. And then you're going to get your dual climate controls, heated seats, but no ventilated seats. So that is going to be a zonk at this price point. I would like to see ventilated seats, but you do have your dual climate control, easy to adjust. You got this wonderful little cubby. Now I have my garage door opener and the actual key fob, but you could literally take 6 Twinkies and just stack them up in there, easy to go. And somebody doesn't even have to go through the shifter. They could actually go through this open area. And what I like about the open area is that it gives you some nice design. You see the touches here? Soft touch material, which is great. Here's your key fob, Avalon key fob. It's got the blue because we're in a hybrid. I'll be honest, it's a little on the plastic side, but the great news is it's not going to pull your pants down if you're not wearing a belt or suspenders. But you have your buttons on the back, that panic button when you're freaking out. And then you can see the nice soft leather. Now the interesting thing is you have a round cup holder for your round drinks, and then you have a U-shaped cup holder for your U-shaped drink. So I guess if you have like a fruit juice box or maybe like a Capri Sun, that would be the place to put it, and then put your bottle of water there. I'm just gonna drop the key fob in there. This is controlling that eCVT transmission, like the leather, the silver, the nice boot material. Even the way they textured this, it's really, really well done, and they did not leave any stone unturned. You have your 3 different driving modes, including sport, and then you got your full EV mode and your electric e-brake, and I like the silver trim. If you notice, everything comes to a rise, so it's actually like rising as we get to the armrest. Good height, semi-soft, open it up, look at that, boom. Party tray that's removable, so you can put your honey roasted peanuts, maybe some cashews, maybe even some walnuts. USB, USB-C, and another USB, and then you have a large area here. You could probably get a 5-pound bag of Sour Patch Kids. I saw an advertisement for that on TV. Literally drop that 5-pound bag and you're good to go, because the good news is you're not gonna be stopping for gas. So you might as well go big with your 5-pound bag of Sour Patch Kids. My favorite thing of the interior are these seats. The microfiber suede material, loving the leather. Look at the two-tone. It looks like a race seat almost with the way they work the color combination. Of course, you're gonna get full electric assist for the passenger and the driver. And then you have your standard size sunroof, which isn't bad. It'd be nice to have a panoramic sunroof, but I'm trying to keep things in check with the price point. You do have the JBL optional audio system, which is really gonna allow you to hear some wonderful tunes. But why don't you come over here behind the business end? I wanna show you behind the wheel of this Avalon XSE Hybrid. All right, guys, here we are, business time. I do like this beautiful Avalon script that they have on the sill plate. Let you remind yourself that you didn't go Camry, you went for the bigger one, the Avalon. XSE trim is gonna get you brushed aluminum brake pedal and throttle, which is kind of cool. It just gives that sporty feel to it. And then you're gonna get, like I said, that full electric assist, lower lumbar feeling great. I'm 6 feet tall. The good news is, with an Avalon, of course, you're gonna have plenty of headroom. Steering wheel has a nice thickness. Even the way they use different types of leather. You got the perforated leather, then the smooth leather top and bottom. Your standard Toyota steering wheel, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. They like to have that familiar sense when you get in, and you have all your Toyota sensing technology in here to keep you and your family safe. You do have the paddles on the back of the steering wheel, and I do like the way they extend them. This is gonna go through simulated gears, which is wonderful. And then your dash, you're gonna get a little combo deal. It's actually a hybrid. See what I did there? You're getting a hybrid dash. There's a little bit of analog technology, speedometer, and your coolant and the other gauge readouts, but then you have your digital display. That's a 7-inch display, and you could toggle through a ton of data and info. Makes it real seamless, really wonderful. But why don't we go ahead? We're gonna now get to that other important part of a 4-door sedan. How are your passengers gonna feel in the back seat? Let's go check it out. All right, guys, backseat time, and this is really where the Avalon earns its keep. You're getting so much rear interior room, it's ridiculous. I do love the way you have the leather, comes all the way around. Nice large pocket. Here's a little fun fact for you. I remember once when I was in school, elementary school in 4th grade, I had a bad report card. I remember my mom picked me up from school, and I hid the report card in the pocket, and she didn't find it for a very long time. By the time she found it, she got mad for a second, but then we moved on. So Little fun fact, I don't know if they're still doing report cards paper-wise, but that's a little fun fact from me to you. Center console area, you do have your 2 rear AC vents, and yes, Toyota took care of your passengers. You get a USB and a USB-C. I have a pocket over here, so I could easily put my abacus, a calculator, maybe a Texas Instrument. Remember like ET used to have? You could actually slide that right in there and collect them. How fun is that? Plenty of headroom. I didn't shrink any. I got 6 feet tall and plenty of headroom in here. Armrest. Ooh, look what they did. A little bit of gloss black, and they added a Slim Jim holder. So this is a trademark Slim Jim holder. You got your 2 cup holders there. Put it back, seamless, smooth. I'm feeling good. Let's check out the trunk area because I'm ready to take this Avalon for a little spin. All right, guys, time to get into the trunk area. It's real simple. You press the button, you lift it up, nice wide opening. And what I love is you're gonna get tons of interior cargo space. You're looking at 16.3 cubic feet of space. The nice little touches is, I like the way Toyota adds these handles so that if you go to Costco, you get that nice 70-inch TV. You could pull on these handles, seats will fold down, and you could get that whole TV back here. Another thing that's great news is you actually have a spare underneath the actual cargo floor. That's something that even on hybrids, they're starting to cut out to help lower that overall weight, but I don't want to make you wait anymore. If you're ready, I'm ready. Let's do some fuel sipping and some hypermiling and take this Avalon XSE Hybrid for a spin. All right, guys, we're in the 2021 Toyota Avalon XSE Hybrid. Right away, I actually enjoy the layout of the interior of the Avalon more so than I do the Camry. And like I said, this is a larger vehicle than a Honda Accord, Mazda 6, Hyundai Sonata, and obviously larger than the Toyota Camry. Great visibility out the windshield. I actually, for the most part, am digging the infotainment system, especially because the way the screen actually integrates nicely into the rest of the center console. It's got a nice flow to it. And overall, the quality of materials in here is really, really high. It's almost like if I blindfold you, you would think you're sitting in a Lexus. The one area that I notice that is not Lexus-esque is definitely I'm noticing a bit of wind noise, more wind noise than I would find, say, on a Lexus ES350 or whatnot. But looking out the back window, visibility's clear. You do have the headrests, which are on the larger side, but still quite clear out the back. Side mirrors are great, and you're gonna get all that great Toyota sensing technology with this setup. I even love that 7-inch display in the center there, showing you how the power is being distributed. You got your different analog gauges, and then, like I pointed out, you do have the different driving modes from sport to normal and full eco, which is great. And I noticed that when you put in sport, you do feel a little bit of change in how everything is behaving. The engine and the eCVT is behaving and whatnot. Good steering feel. I love the thickness of the wheel. It's a nice thickness for this style of vehicle. Seats, supportive and comfortable. It would be nice to have ventilated seats. $44,000 seems like the place where I should be in ventilated seats in a Toyota Avalon. But with the XSE trim, you are getting some of those nice other sporty touches, especially like that gray trim up top. Very, very tasteful. You do have the JBL audio sound system and the sunroof, which is nice. Hey guys, let's go ahead and do an on throttle. So really nice and peppy for this style of car. And at the end of the day, you're gonna get 43 miles per gallon in a full-size sedan like this. I think is exceptionally well. I do have it in sport mode to give me just that little extra something when it comes to the driving and the way that the car behaves. Seats, I'm telling you, this two-tone interior, it really wakes up what could be a very boring car. The blueprint color with the seats, the way that the interior is with the caramel brown and everything, just absolutely perfect. I like the little cubby you have up here. Kind of odd to have that U-shaped cup holder, but like I said, if you have a Capri Sun or a juice box, that's gonna drop down perfectly. I guess what I would eventually like to see, as I'm sure many of you, would be wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto would be nice. But getting to the navigation, super clear, takes up that whole 9-inch display. And I really feel like 9-inch, it's a good size. Not too big, not too small, kind of just right. We could go into our menu settings. You could get to your dual climate control, which is easily done, depending on if you're the passenger or the driver. But definitely Toyota does a well laid out interior that makes sense and it's easy to use. Pulling away from the light, smooth. And like I said, I think another thing I love about the hybrid setup in here is you don't feel that on and off of the 2.5 inline 4 naturally aspirated engine. It's a nice seamless transition, super smooth. And we're gonna get on the highway and see how this Avalon glides down the road. So on throttle. So overall, very, very smooth. Like I said, you have the ability to shift with those paddles. You put it over the shifter over to the left, and now I could go up and down that simulated 6-speed automatic, simulated gears in that, or you could just put it back and you're right back into drive. So on throttle. So if you notice right now, you're getting that loud drone sound of the eCVT because it's keeping the RPM super high. I wish they would have went with a simulated maybe 10-speed automatic to kind of bring those revs down. But I think overall, most people driving this car are not gonna just have it floored going down the highway the whole time. When you're doing your normal day-to-day commute, picking the kids up from school, going to the mall or the grocery store, I don't think you're really going to be bothered with that drone sound. And it definitely, like I said, it's really when you're flat-footed on throttle, and that's where it just stays pinned. But other than that, driving around town really goes through the process of feeling like you're in a regular traditional automatic equipped car and not a CVT, or what Toyota calls an eCVT. But you do have that analog charge, eco and power gauge that does its thing as you're driving down the road. And let's see how she handles. Nice on the brakes, changing lanes is super smooth, feels great. And that's the thing, is a lot of times when you go hybrid, it actually makes the car handle better because we have those the batteries underneath the passenger seat back there. It actually helps lower the center of gravity, which allows the car to actually handle better overall. And when it goes down the road, it rides smoother, believe it or not. And if you're wondering, well, how does this ride compared to a Camry? The Avalon has a little bit longer wheelbase, so you are going to get that smoother drive down the road. But on throttle, a little bit of wheel spin. So definitely not a car that by going hybrid, you're going to be a snail by any means. It has a nice balance of power for the weight of the vehicle, and you got plenty of room back here for the backseat passengers and up front, which is wonderful as well. But hopefully this gave you a nice overall feel of what the Avalon's all about. We're going to get back to that beautiful Pleasure Island and wrap this one up. So I'll see you in a split second. All right, guys, it's been one heck of a day here in the lap of paradise. A little windy, but we're okay with that. The sun is out, the sun is shining. I definitely want to thank Zach and everybody over at Toyota for allowing us access to this Avalon, this 2021 Avalon XSE Hybrid. It just goes to show that Toyota knows that hybrid setup. They really want to get maximum MPGs for you, but they also want to deliver for those who still want a full-size family sedan. They want to have that opportunity and that availability where other brands are cutting out their sedans. And at this price point, having the touches, you are getting a lot of Lexus. It's interesting how they're bringing a lot of their premium brand Lexus into this Toyota Avalon, but definitely want to add it to your list, especially if you're looking for a luxury style full-size sedan with that hybrid fuel sipping strategy. But if you want to keep seeing vehicles like these on Rady's Rides, leave a comment in the comment section. If you're new and you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Rady's Rides family. If you want to help us keep making great content just for you on the channel, click that link in the description. Get yourself some Rady's Rise merch. Got to give it up to my wonderful wife, Lori, queen of the camera, working it like a champ, holding it down out here with all the windy conditions. Show her some love in the comment section. Thank you, Lori, for all that you do. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.